Hello. Oh, earphones makes a big difference. Hi, Drea. Hi, Shivam. We'll get started in just a moment. There we go. This changes the sound pretty dramatically. Thank you for showing up to play. Oh, Lori. Hi, Gerhard. Hi, everybody. Robin, Kimray. Hi, you guys. Thank you for showing up to play today. This is super awesome. Wow, happy to see you guys. So much evolution over the past couple of years. And I have to tell you, the more people I talk to, hi Joseph, whether it's people in animal related circles or people who are very big in the awakening and evolution, or people who are not awake at all, it's so amazing to feel how much space there is now to share from our hearts and to live in our hearts and to connect from our hearts. And, oh, thank you. And that is, connecting from our hearts is truly the foundation that I'm talking about when I'm saying be a human that animals can understand. Animals, as many of us know, the moment you're willing to feel your own heart and feel yourself in your body, that's when they look at you and just go, oh, there you are. And then there's this connection, and we feel them feeling us, feeling them, feeling us, feeling them. And it's the most exquisite sensation of connection. I started talking about this, be a human that animals can understand. And some people said, well, yeah, Kerri, animals are your path, but they're just not everybody's path. That's great for you, but can't you make this more to a broader audience? And when I heard that, it actually got me to think, maybe it's time for an evolution on how we think of our own evolution, and that animals are not necessarily one's path, but a contribution, and not just a contribution to my path, but a contribution to humanity coming together. So what happens if we let our thinking evolve a little bit, and rather than trying to find a path, we start to open our vision and open our hearts and open what we can receive, our capacity to receive, and see how much the animal kingdom is contributing to humanity, and that I, as an individual, have an opportunity to receive that contribution, no matter what my own walk of life is. Because it's true, not everybody plays with animals every day. Not everybody has the automatic consciousness to find and spend time with animals. Yes, of course. I mean, there are people who spend their whole day inside of a server room and packed with around computers and fluorescent lights and air conditioning all day long every day. But that doesn't mean animals aren't part of their life. Maybe that same person has pictures of tigers on their wall. Animals are a part of their life. Maybe a person who works in government goes home and pets their dog. I mean, that's a pretty obvious one. Maybe somebody is a plumber and they don't even know, if you tell them about being awake, they would go, well, yeah, I woke up tired this morning. And they love going and feeding the ducks. Or they have a statue of a horse that their grandmother gave them, and it means the world to them. All of this is animals being a part of our lives. Or look at the huge movements from wildlife SOS and Wild Aid and everything going on with elephants and conserving this and awareness. So being on one path of animals is actually, at this point, narrow. It's it's participating in a narrow approach, but knowing that as a human, you have the capacity to receive the contribution of animals, no matter who you are and where you are, that's empowering. That's freeing. That's expansive. And it just kind of happens that humans haven't been given much of an education necessarily on how to receive that contribution. This is what I love about where we are now and all of the teachings that are happening and all the people that are speaking. That people are starting to teach others how to be aware of communication, how to be aware of beauty, how to be aware of what this world is actually contributing to us, rather than the age-old archaic paradigm of human survival first. I think humans have pretty much proved we're going to survive stuff unless we blow ourselves up again. Pretty much proved we can dominate any landscape, dominate any species. Pretty much proved we can dominate one another, and I think we're kind of getting bored of it, wouldn't you say? So I wonder what else there is. You know, when we're ready to be all done dominating things, there's still a whole universe giving to us. So how do we really actually start to recognize and receive what's being given to us? And do I even really need to prove I deserve it anymore? I'm here, I'm walking around, I have a body, I'm breathing, my heart's beating. Everything is here to be received. So the reason, well, for me, animals help me understand what that receiving is, because that's how they live. Birds don't wake up in the morning and worry about where their food is going to come from. Birds wake up in the morning and sing. They share their voice, they share their presence, they share who they are, connect with one another, hear and listen to everybody else who's around that morning. They receive that social nourishment first, and then they move on and they live their lives. Now, we have that same capacity. We have the freedom to know ourselves in connection socially with our kind and beyond before we even move around and get our breakfast. And in fact, it's kind of funny. We actually do that. It's just looks different than nature. You know, how many people wake up in the morning and, you know, do their personal hygiene things, but then start deciding what clothes to wear, start deciding what makeup to wear, start thinking about what they're going to be doing. That's social interaction before we even go out to the world. It's going to help when we start recognizing the parts of humanity that are actually already functioning with nature. So, being a human that animals can understand is very much about being the aspect of yourself that is natural. Being a human that animals can understand asks you to feel your own body. It invites you to be aware of your own senses. Because when you are aware of your own senses, you are automatically flowing in the same place where animals flow. When your priority is your own body, you are automatically putting yourself in the world where animals live. Animals are walking around and they've never had the opportunity to forget who they are. Animals have never had the consciousness to go away from their true nature. That's a uniquely human thing. So let's acknowledge that. For one thing, let's stop hating humanity for this thing that we also have put on a pedestal called free will. All free will is the freedom to go against your nature. And it's the freedom to choose. Which, the cool thing about free will is you can choose to not choose and stay in alignment with your free will. Animals have not had that opportunity to go against their nature. They don't have that consciousness. And so when we connect with animals, we're connecting with that presence and that sense of what it is to not go against your nature. That is an enormous contribution to humanity, to even recognize that one tiny little thing. This is why, people who spend their days in battle, whether it's battle in a courtroom or battle in an office or battle on a field or fighting against the computer technology to get it to do what you want it to do, or other people who spend their days in battle often go home and be with their animals, or they'll go home and look at the artwork of animals on their wall, because there is that sense of being around another living being that has never gone against their own nature. Their mind might not understand that, but on a sensory level, they absolutely get it. And that's why we're so drawn to it. That's why we're so very, very drawn to animals. So then the next question always becomes, well, that's great, Kerri, how do we do it? There's all the spiritual teachings for thousands and thousands of years of quiet the mind and be in the present moment and know thyself. And that's all great. But let's look at the world we're in today that's busy, fast, busy, and think. And people think before they realize they're thinking. And then they identify with their thoughts. And then they judge their thoughts. And then they're all over the place after that, right? So how can a very thinky human start to come and closer to that nature that doesn't go against itself? Well, this is where the animals really do come in as a huge contribution for what it already feels like to not go against yourself. A human has to be willing to feel. And by feel, I'm not talking about all the squishy emotions that we're afraid we might need therapy for if we let ourselves actually go there. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is being willing to bring your awareness to the sensory system that will guide you infallibly once you are aware of how the system is designed to help you. Because of this fear of emotions and the fear of judgments and the fear of therapy, which is understandable, because of all of those fears, humans have sort of systematically shut down their awareness of their senses. Okay? So animals go through life not calculating in their brain about whether they're being a good enough horse today or a good enough dog today. They're simply being what they are. They're simply expressing, this is how it feels to be me. And how do I know? Well, because this is how it feels, right? They're not trying to explain or justify themselves. They're feeling, okay, this is how it feels to be me. So before the expression happens, they are sensing and they are feeling. They are feeling their bodies. They're feeling not only pressure on their body if you actually touch them or if they're actually touching something, they're feeling how their nervous system communicates. There's food in my stomach, there's no food in my stomach. They're feeling and they're sensing whether the mind and whether their brain is functioning well. They're not putting labels on it and saying, oh, that's a low cortex and I'm lacking in serotonin and melatonin. That's all human stuff. What they're doing is sensing their body as their body says, well, here's how it feels. If it's time to stand up and go get a drink, it's because their body said, well, here's how it feels. For humans to be in that state of being requires humans to be willing to be aware of what their body is communicating. Now, there's one other step required for humans that isn't part of the animal kingdom, and that is the absence of judgment. Animals are not sitting there and say, they get up to go hunt or go check their food bowl. They're not going to stop themselves and look at their watch and say, oh, it's not noon yet, I shouldn't be hungry. Okay, that's human stuff. They're not stopping before they go and eat their dinner to check in the mirror and check their waist and see, oh, I really shouldn't eat that today. I should skip dinner today because look at my figure. No, that's human stuff. And it's so funny. Oh my gosh, humans are so funny. So animals are simply noticing how their body feels, and then they stand up and act on what they sense, right? Their body says, here's how it feels. And that's feedback for their nervous system, and their nervous system gives different impulses if we're going to be all scientific about it. And then their body moves and they go and do stuff. And as a big picture, what they're communicating outwardly with that is, here's how it feels to be me. I'm a dog who's feeling like eating some food right now. It's communication that on a very basic level is simply just saying, here's how it feels to be me right now. So humans, on the other hand, before they go eat dinner, some of them, I know this might be a surprise, but some of them actually do stop and look in the mirror and say, oh no, I should probably skip dinner because look at my body, look at the shape of my body. I'm not a good enough female right now because I can't wear this color, or I can't wear that article of clothing, and that means somehow I'm doing something wrong. So for a moment, let's just offer some compassion to that, okay? Because all that is a pattern of judgments. All that is judgments. Let's not judge judgments for a second. Let's just let judgment exist for a second, okay? Because it's part of the human thing. And if we're going to walk toward being a human that animals can understand, then we have to acknowledge that humans have the capacity to judge. Humans have the capacity to go against their nature, to choose something other than their nature. And they have the capacity to not choose to go against their nature and come back right into their nature. So let's not judge humans because humans have the capacity to judge. Let's just acknowledge judgment happens. And notice for 1 second what it feels like when you do, right? Here's animals over here not judging themselves for being a dog that wants to eat every second of the day. They're just saying, this is how it feels to be me. This is what I'm doing. Okay? And then over here there are humans. And humans have the capacity to judge. So let's just acknowledge that, look at them side by side, and watch how your body feels when, for literally 10 seconds, just 10 seconds, we don't judge judgment. So literally watch how your body responds and give your mind a free pass, give your solar plexus a free pass for 10 seconds to just not judge judgment. And just watch what that feels like. Just to get a sense of it. Just to begin to get a sense of what it feels like to be you for 10 seconds. with no judgment. I'll keep the time. Ready? 10 seconds starts now. Awesome. So just notice, really simple, when you took that break from judging, does my body feel the same or different? Really simple for a second. Really simple. Same or different. And if it feels different, let's just chalk that up as a bit of information and go, interesting. I can sense the difference. That's what it feels like to be me with no judgment. Might be a doorway. When we, as humans, are willing to explore our sensory beingness in that way, when we're willing to play with feeling what we sense, we have taken a step closer to being, to functioning the way animals do, to functioning in a way where we move with what we sense because that's how it feels to be me. Now, we'll throw in some more human words about this. That we can call that authentic. We can call that in alignment. We can call that harmonious. We can call it being in the present moment. Because the only thing that takes us out of the present moment are the patterns of judgment that say, oh, this should be different than it is. That should have been different than it was. Should. The way, like that happens, right? Let's just acknowledge it. That happens. But for a moment, in our acknowledging, let's not judge it. 10 seconds at a time of the absence of judgment. And I promise you, you will start to see new dimensions open up. And you are very literally taking yourself to a state of being that's much closer to the animal kingdom. You're taking yourself to a state of being that is choosing to not choose to go against yourself. It's really, really great stuff. Really great stuff. So I just want to say hi to Louise. Hi, Louise. Hi, Lisa. Oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. Kelly and Janine, Stephanie, hi, and Blake. Blake. Christine. Oh my gosh, you guys. And Kat, Vivian. Hi, Vivian. Susan, I haven't seen you forever. And Bex, you're here. So great. Corrine, hi, everybody. David, Roger, hi, David. So again, excuse me, the reason why I like to talk about being a human that animals can understand is because there is a sensory difference. There is a difference in the sense of your own state of being when you are willing to feel yourself being yourself. When you, and so what this is, what it, on a very basic level, what we're talking about is re-educating the mind to find its information in the body, to navigate based on the senses in our body. But we have to tease apart the difference between judgments and emotions and sensations and guidance. Guidance through the animals, it just comes as a sense of being and a feeling that says, go here now, or don't go there. I'll give you a little story. Several years ago, Navarre was still living with me. Navarre was a big thoroughbred gelding, and he and I lived together for about 8 years. And there was a day where we had an invitation to travel up to the beach in San Francisco and have a photographer come out, and there were 2 horses and me and another person. And we had this kind of, it looked like this amazing opportunity. This pretty famous photographer just wanted to take more pictures of horses on the beach. So we got all prepared, and it was like 7 a.m, and we're getting the horses ready, and we go to load in the trailer, and Navarre just plants and stops, and he got very, very heavy and still. And here's the human brain saying, no, come on, this is going to take too long. We need to get into the trailer. We're going to miss our appointment, blah, blah, blah. But he just stopped and didn't move. I talked to him, and he looked at me, and through just being how he is, excuse me, how he is and who he was communicating, this is how it feels to be me when we're doing this. Now, that's the simplicity of animal communication. This is how it feels to be me right now. This is how it feels to be me in this situation. This is how it feels to be me in this situation, right? The way their bodies are moving them, the way that they are moving through the world, this is how it feels to be me in this situation. P.S. It's very similar for humans too. We can call it listening, but we'll get there later. So here he is, standing there saying, this is how this feels to be me. And I heard him. I saw it. And I felt it. Because being me next to him when he was feeling like that, it felt yucky. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to go anywhere. So what did I do? I turned into a human, and my brain and my mind and my judgments that said, oh, this is bad. We made an appointment. We can't disappoint. We should do this. This is going to be good, blah, blah, blah. That dominated and overrode the situation. And he, even though he could feel, this is how it feels to be doing this, he still gave over to me, my humanness that was choosing to go away from my nature. He chose to say, okay, I'll go with you. So, hi Shirley and Meg. So, he got in the trailer, and the horses are in the trailer, and off we go. And what happened there is we had a little bit of time on the beach and took some nice photographs, and all of that is great. And there was so much anxiety and nervousness in the air, and I could feel it and he could feel it. So while we were there, he kept communicating, this is how it feels to be me in this situation. And while I heard him, I had already overrode and dominated the situation with my mind, and so did the other person, and all of that. And eventually what happened was a guy was walking down the beach with his dog. His dog slipped his collar, and it was a Rottweiler. I think she was a full Rottweiler. And she came charging the horses and chasing the horses and wanting to bite at their legs. And it was a fiasco, right? And we ended up getting the horses back to the trailer, and the other person that I was with was driving, and she was a mess of anxiety. And partway through the drive home, I got to talk her down off of a ledge while we were driving, because she just started to go into a panic, and it's not a fun situation. I'll just tell you. Just tell you. So we made it home. Everybody was exhausted. Everybody's body was communicating, this is how it feels, right? I'm sharing that story because it to me really illustrates, before we even went, Navarre was communicating, here's how this feels. I felt it. And I went all human on the situation, and I could have very well said, you know what, I'm not going. Navarre's letting me know what this is going to look like if we're heading into it. And I can feel that, and I'm not interested in creating a situation from that feeling. But I didn't. I went all human. And it had all sorts of choices and decisions, and I made them, and that's how it turned out. So while I'm sharing all of that, notice how your own body feels, right? Where is the tension? And what does that tension feel like to you? What does it feel like to be you listening to that story? And I told the story really quick. I could draw it out because it was intense. But what is it? Just notice for yourself. Take your awareness to your own physical body. Kindergarten simple. Expect nothing of yourself, but simply notice, give yourself the grace to notice, how does it feel to be me listening to that story? And then for 10 seconds, don't judge it. For 10 seconds, just notice this is how it feels. Promise yourself. Now, here's a really good tool. If you want to go off into your world and play with these little 10 seconds of not judging just to see how it feels, promise yourself that after 10 seconds, you are free to judge everything. You are free to have every opinion in the world. You are free to control everything after 10 seconds. Promise yourself. You are free to judge. But for 10 seconds, let's just set every judgment down on the table and go, how does it feel to be me listening to that story? How does it feel to be me if I have memories come up about where I've done the same thing? But I'm not going to judge it. I just want to know, what does it actually feel like in my body? So let's do that for 10 seconds. I'll keep the time. You do nothing more than be aware of what your body feels like, how your body communicates what it feels like to be you right now. Let's just do 10 seconds, and I promise afterward you can control it again. So just 10 seconds. Okay, I'll keep the time. Here we go. Go. Three more seconds. Perfect. Now, you can totally judge and control yourself again, right? Because you promised yourself you could. But let's also acknowledge that we just had this experience of feeling what it's like to be me without judging it. This is how the body feels when we do this, okay? The reason why I share that with you is because it's data for the mind. See, the human mind only knows what it has experienced before. It likes to think that it's this all-knowing, all-seeing, all-sensing thing. It's not. The mind is a wonderful tool and an amazing calculator to connect dots and put things together and provide options and all that good stuff. But the mind can only process information that it already has. The way to open to information we've not experienced before is to be aware of the sensations and the communication through the body. The body's the instrument that is going to feel what's actually going on at every level, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, etheric. The body is what feels that. And this is why Navarre was communicating, oh geez, this is how it feels to be thinking about doing this right now. Because his body, which he's never had the opportunity to go against because he doesn't have the human consciousness, his body was saying, these are the vibrations that are actually present here. Stress, anxiety, anticipation of something we don't want to experience, all of that good stuff, things that aren't going to support us. Because his body was able to feel and his nervous system was able to communicate that those vibrations exist, he communicated through his own beingness, here's how it feels to be me when we're thinking about doing this. Humans can put themselves in that same state of being by playing for these little moments with no judgment. And when you play for 10 seconds at a time with how the body feels with no judgment, and then give yourself the freedom to judge after so you can feel what that feels like, you're giving your mind, or your mind, that's brain, here's mind, you're giving your mind new experience. So your mind has these little bits of data that say, that's possible. Here's how the body communicates what's possible. Here's how it feels like to be me when I'm playing with that possibility. So, 10 seconds at a time. How does it feel to be me with no judgment? Now, if you can do that bringing back to animals and being a human that animals can understand, if you can do that in the presence of animals, watch their response. Well, heck, watch the response of humans when you do it, but keep your awareness with your own physical so you can know the sensation of what it feels like to be me when all this is going around. What it feels like to be me when I play with the absence of judgment in the presence of others. That is taking enormous, big, huge, wonderful, awesome steps toward being a human that animals can understand, because you are being a human in parallel with the way animals are animals. So play with that. And it's very fun. And also play with, this idea of here's how it feels to be me before all the knowledge kicks in. If you see your dog's behaving in this way and it's uncomfortable and maybe there's anxiety, maybe give yourself 5 seconds of just listening from this place of, okay, all they're doing is saying, here's how it feels to be them right now. I'm going to give it 5 seconds, maybe 10, of listening to that. Listening without judgment. It feels different. It's a different experience of being. And rather than trying to create that with the mind who doesn't know it because it's not experienced it, make the priority your physical body, because your physical body will say, oh no, that's really happening, and here's how it feels. So we start to re-educate the mind so it knows where to find the real information that communicates from the present moment, rather than seeking the present moment. There is just endless, literally, information when we listen from the present moment. You already have it. In fact, you have a tremendous ally who is never in the future, never in the past. Your body is never in the future. Your body is never in the past. So mind, watch the body. Watch how the body communicates what actually is happening in 10 seconds at a time. Because I promise you, it builds. You tap into your natural systems, so innate. Everything starts to come back online. And this amazing gift that we have as humans called free will, the option to choose other than our nature, we start to notice our opportunity to not choose, to go against our nature, and watch our true nature actually guide everything right back into a beautiful harmonic alignment with all of life. That's what it's all about, baby. That's where we're headed. We can fight against it, or we can let ourselves be embraced by it. So that's what I have to share with you all today. And thank you all for coming to play. I have, if this is all fun for you, starting in January, I have a 9-week series that's online and global, and 2 hours a week of live video playtime like this. It's recorded, and you can see the details. It's just called the 9-week series. That's how creative I got on that one. But if you go on my website under services, you'll see a link to the 9-week series. You can read what that's about. But it provides a tremendous foundation for those of us who are walking with an open heart, But what this does is help re-educate the mind and help the mind understand where to find the information that guides us in harmony with life. And that is on your sensory level. So I'll put the link in here on the comments, but kerrilake.com under services, and you'll see a link for the 9-week series. I would love to have a beautiful group there, because playing together like this is priceless. We get to experience ourselves experiencing other humans playing in this way, and it just accelerates the whole journey with so much love and so much playfulness. That's the point, right? And when we're in that place in our own hearts in that way, that is where animals see us, recognize us, acknowledge us, just like that. And the experience of swimming with wild dolphins, it's the experience of truly being seen by a horse, or having a dog come and just look right at you and say, hey, there you are. Your whole body changes. We can be that with and for each other. That's what this is all about. So go to kerrilake.com and click on services. Check out the 9-week series. It starts January 11th. And let's play, because your presence matters, and your presence changes the harmonics of the dimensions around you. I mean, we can go into fancy energetic language, and we do, but at the same time, we can keep it really simple and just say that you feeling yourself, you're changing the world. That's part of the magic of being a human. We can be a human in an awake way. We can be a human in an asleep way. Doesn't matter. Our hearts are taking us into harmony and into a whole different realm of being anyway. So myself, I like the fast track. I like helping people on the fast track. It's more fun. So if you want to play like that, come and play. I will be doing another live stream this Friday morning, and pretty much similar, just to share. And if people come and have questions or comments, I would love to have it be interactive. How much fun would that be? And after that, I will likely do a live stream on Wednesday and maybe Saturday afternoon. I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but for now, Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. we're on, and I will look forward to playing some more. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Contact me if you like. Message me or go to the website. You can always go to the contact page on the website and hop on the mailing list, and I do newsletters and stuff. But in the meantime, let yourself be loved. Let yourself start to receive the beauty that's around. 10 seconds at a time. At 10 seconds, how does it feel to be me? To actually receive the colors around me? How does it feel to be me when I acknowledge how much I love that picture of the tiger on the wall? How does it feel to be me when for 10 seconds I just stop judging, and I promise myself I can judge again 10 seconds later? But play with it. Play with it. And have a beautiful day, you guys. Anna, thank you so much. Jane, so awesome to see you. Janine, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Karen, hello, lovely. And Meg, Ash, thank you. Thank you. I love sharing. I'm so happy you're here. And Shirley, hello. Everybody, thank you so much for hopping on today. Thank you for letting me know that you are here. That's so awesome. Lots and lots of love to you. Hug your critters for me. And I will see you in a couple of days.